Good morning. Coming to you live this morning from beautiful Bear Lake. See this beautiful view behind me? So, gonna be outside today, listening to the beautiful birds chirping. Every time I get on here, I have this burning desire to sing you my song that I sing my kids every morning. It's morning time, it's morning time, time to greet the day, little darling. It's morning time, it's morning time, time to say hello. I love you, my darling, I love you, my dear. It's time to say hello. So hope you're having a beautiful day and waking up to some sunshine as well. Today's meditation is grief as a portal, but as I was thinking about it this morning, my assistant chat helps me come up with these things because this is a lot to come up with every week. But, more than just grief, it's all the emotions as a portal, but especially those heavy ones, because a big part of our conditioning is, this kind of go-to response of let's minimize these emotions as quickly as possible. And I think some of the most difficult ones are grief and anger. Anger is also a really big one that can be an incredible portal that we oftentimes view as something we need to get rid of, or something that is almost like a negative, like I shouldn't be angry. And then grief is a really interesting one because it's very uncomfortable to sit in and to really allow yourself to go into that deep mourning. And, when you're on this path of self-discovery, one of the aspects that definitely doesn't get talked about enough is when you're working on the art of letting go. And yesterday we were talking about releasing these identities and, allowing yourself to let go of these old patterns that are not working for you and that are coming from a place of habit and conditioning. Well, it all sounds great in theory, but it's actually quite painful. And there's a lot of grief that comes up as you watch these identities and you watch these things strip away. And so it's making space to honor that as well. That as you're opening into these spaces, anytime you close out that side, and we've talked about honoring endings, there's that, oftentimes there's going to be a pretty deep wave of grief that comes up. Grief around letting go, grief around not knowing where you're headed into, grief around the loss of things coming to an end, because oftentimes when you really start to come into yourself, you start to realize that there are aspects and dynamics that aren't really working for you and aren't really serving you. And that's why it takes so much courage, because sometimes it is walking away from relationships and shifting a job or shifting the way you hold a boundary. And that can be scary. And allowing yourself to feel that grief. And I can only speak, obviously, to my own grief, but a big fear that comes up for me with any of those big emotions is almost like this fear that I'm going to get stuck there. Like if I really allow myself to feel the fullness of that pain, that I'm not going to be able to find my way back out. But a really interesting thing happens when we're able to allow these big emotions to surface in a safe and appropriate way, right? Like anger, for example. It's never okay to hurt someone else. Or in our grief, it's never okay to take those emotions out on someone else. And so part of the process is allowing yourself a safe space to feel those emotions, but then to allow yourself to really go into it fully. And one of the things that I will often offer to my clients or my patients that was a huge tool for me was to set a timer. Like if you feel a wave of emotion coming up, whether it's anger or sadness or depression or anxiety, just a deep urge to cry, frustration, whatever it is, can you set a timer from anywhere to 3 to 5 to 10 minutes? Usually 10 minutes is enough, but you'll know if you need more than that. And take yourself into a space that's safe and that you can settle into, and just give yourself the full length of that timer to be fully in it, to feel the story, to feel where it feels in your body, to allow all the emotion to bubble up, to allow it to come through, and feel the victim story, feel, maybe the negative feelings you have towards someone, to just really allow yourself to go into it 100% fully, trusting that when the timer goes off, that you're going to say, okay, that's it for today. And something really profound happens, that when you set up this safe container for you to fully feel the expression of your feelings, rather than going to that place of like, it's fine, it wasn't a big deal, they didn't mean that, just get over it, we know this is for the best. Like, that's a big one, right? Like, I know this is for the best, so I shouldn't have any emotions about it, apparently. But when you allow yourself that container to fill it fully for that, 3, 5, 10 minutes, all of a sudden, it moves through. And you realize that you don't need to be so scared of these big emotions. But you wouldn't be having big emotions if there wasn't something deeper going on. And so when you allow yourself space to honor those deeper feelings that are going on, it's huge. And sometimes it's just honoring that intense energy that's moving through us. Because, what's wrong with any of these emotions? Well, oftentimes what we don't like is that it's really big energy in our body. And sometimes that energy is overwhelming because we're trying to contain it. We're trying to hold it in. But these emotions aren't our emotions. They're pointing us to something deeper. So can we just open, let the energy move through, and allow it to show us the healing that it's trying to bring forward? And trust that we've got it. We have the capacity to handle and show up for these big emotions, and we don't need to be afraid of them. That they deserve just as much space as joy or excitement or compassion or love. They are here as a teacher. They are here as one of your most profound guides. And so what you're doing in that, time frame is inviting them to sit down to tea. And the more you can invite them and allow them to be seen, the less scary they become, and the more you settle into who you are. So for today's practice, go ahead and close your eyes, taking a deep breath in, beginning to settle into the 5 senses. Noticing what you hear, noticing what you smell, Noticing what you taste. Noticing your breath as it moves in and moves out through the body. Noticing the clothes against your skin or anything else you feel outside you or within you. And as you begin to settle into your body, begin tapping in and letting your soul and your body know that you're open to really hearing and to showing you where are some emotions still stuck or sitting stagnant. Where is there some unresolved grief or anger or fear, maybe depression or anxiety that you keep avoiding? What deep emotions am I avoiding? As the energy bubbles up, can you ask the emotion, the energy to show you what is still needing healing? What is still needing your time or attention or validation or compassion? Can you step into this space with a deeper curiosity and an openness to really hear and see what's going on, to hold space for why this emotion is stuck? Noticing if there's any thoughts of, I should be over this already, or I've already looked at this. Can you allow yourself permission to come back to maybe something you have already looked at and allow another layer to come forward? Oftentimes, big emotions come in layers. Maybe sometimes it feels like this dynamic is fine, and all of a sudden you're hit with another big wave and realize there's still pain in there. And that doesn't mean that you didn't clear it before. It just means another layer is bubbling up to be seen. As you sit here with some of these ideas or emotions or situations that are bubbling up, ask yourself, do I need to be afraid to feel these things? Do I need to be afraid to invite them to sit down for tea? Noticing the shift that takes place as you create and open that space. As you continue to breathe in, really honoring and recognizing that oftentimes the things we're most resistant to or afraid to sit with are the things that are coming to us out of the most grace to help us heal, to help us learn, and to help us grow. So the invitation today is, if and when those emotions bubble up, can you just pause, set a timer, give yourself full permission to get curious. What does this feel like in my body? What's the sensation? What is it wanting to tell me? And can I allow it space to express so that it can move through? Hope you have a beautiful day. Sending you lots of love.